After launching lat-line marker, we select our state and county, then we'll click on the index map in the lower right hand corner. Then we'll find a position on that map. We'll click that, we'll go down and click the mark button, and then that establishes a coordinate pair. We then select a layer, in this case aerial photo layer, and we'll find an object on that layer, and we will click on that object, and we can mark that and go pick up our FEMA panel, and you can clearly see that it's found that same position on the surface of the FEMA panel. Another way to get a position is to use the Google address search. We'll click on the Google address search from the search menu. It automatically launches Google Earth, and it will take you to whatever your last marked position was to the surface of Google Earth. Once you're there, you have but to go up in the upper left-hand corner of Google Earth, type in the address that you're looking for, then move your cursor over and click on the search button, and Google Earth will locate that position if it can find the address, and put a square box with a crosshair in it at that location. You move the hand over the box, it'll highlight, right click on it, select copy, and then go and exit Google Earth, first discarding it, and it will take you to lat-long marker. Then click the Google lat-long button, and it will take you to that same position on lat-long marker. You have but then to pull down the FEMA layer, and you can see then that position on a FEMA panel. Another way, you can always get a position from Google Earth, a lat-long at the bottom of the screen, or you could get a GPS or a position using a GPS position in the form of a latitude longitude. Then you can go to lat-long marker, pull down the search, click on the lat-long button, type in that latitude longitude, and then click locate, and the software will take you to that position on your selected layer. Then you can just simply pull down the layer, select the FEMA panel layer, and you can see that same position on the FEMA panel. Another important feature in the system is being able to import property boundaries. In order to do this, we first have to establish a project with the system. We do that by selecting the projects menu, and we select add project, give a name and ID, type in save as. That will establish a project, which allows us then to pull down the utilities menu. We can select surveys and go to DXF import. Select our DXF file, import it. We can plot it up and do any projection conversions necessary. Then we will be able to automatically plot that to the surface of any layer on lat-long marker. If you click on here, we're going to click on the photo layer, and you can see that it's plotted our subdivision on top of our aerial photo layer. We can then click on the Google Earth button in the upper right-hand corner of lat-long marker, and it will automatically launch Google Earth. This time it will launch Google Earth with our survey, which means it's going to take our imported survey and plot it to the surface of Google Earth. Here you can see, as we're zooming down, that it's plotted our subdivision onto the surface of Google Earth, and you can see how it aligns to the properties there. Discard Google Earth, then it will be back in the lat-long marker. Then we can go in and select the FEMA panel layer. Now you can see that it's plotted our subdivision to the surface of the FEMA panel layer. We'll launch Google Earth once again. And this time it's not only going to plot our subdivision imported in, but it's going to plot the FEMA panel itself to the surface of Google Earth. This has some great advantages. First of all, we're going to move the center slide bar on our left-hand menu. You can see we can control the transparency of the panel itself. Then we'll rotate that panel three-dimensionally, and you can see that we have our survey plotted to the surface of Google Earth, along with the FEMA panel itself and all the information available from Google Earth, such as streets and any other information it might have. And you can also clearly see the flood plain on that panel. Now that we've collected our coordinates that we'll be using for our project, we'll go ahead and we'll first select the FEMA panel that we'll utilize on this project. Pop that up. And we can start filling out the elevation certificates. We do this by clicking on that form, and we'll start filling out the information. The system also will automatically fill out components of the form, such as NA for those fields that aren't filled out. And it allows you to even integrate in the photography that you've made of the individual structure involved. And it'll take that information and also print that out to a FEMA form. Now, these forms can be printed individually as you go, or they can be printed at one time using the print commands, which we'll go into first here. You can print, for example, a FEMA certificate and what we call a permit. We'll do that here. We'll click on, we'll select the print map process, and we'll go ahead and start our printing. And it can print a technical form here that shows you a position along with client information. And also we'll go ahead and it will print what we call the permit, which carries the FEMA elevation certificate information as well as the form's index. Now we print each individual certificate, including the certificate that contains photographs of the structure involved. All this information makes a nice, neat, clean package that you can present to your client. When you're selected to an individual FEMA FRM panel, you can go ahead and pull down the Documents menu at the top of the screen here, and we'd like to do that, and click on LOMARs, and it will automatically search for any LOMARs that we have on our database for that particular panel. You can print any of these LOMARs out individually or all the LOMARs that are. You can also take any marked position that we have on the screen. If you take any position, you click the mark button, and you can pull down the documents and look at all the NGS points in order of distance from your marked position. You can change the color, so forth, and you can also print out the data sheets on these NGS points. After you've selected one, it will take you to that position on lat long marker and put a little triangle there, which indicates that it is an NGS point along with its data sheet identification. You can also launch Google Earth at this point, and the system will take that NGS point in question and it will map it down to the surface of Google Earth. And of course, the advantage of that is you may have more recent and also more detailed aerial information regarding that position. It too will put the little triangle down onto the surface of Google Earth, and if you click on that, it'll give you the NGS data sheet in question. You can also integrate images into the lat long marker system. You can take your image. In this case, we'll take a quadrangle sheet here. We're going to load it, and we're going to import it into our database here. It's just a typical JPEG image. And we're going to go ahead and geocode that image here. We'll select it and load it into the screen here. The next thing we'll do is we'll set up a scaling so that we can go in and identify two positions on it to establish a scale for it, and let the computer system here generate a set of controls for it. That image is then integrated in our system, and it becomes part of the database. Here, as you can see, we can select it, and we can look at it here, and our other survey information, you can see that that's plotted over it. We can even take and launch to Google Earth and take the image that we've integrated in and plot it to the surface of Google Earth. Now this has some real advantages. If you have, for example, a complex survey which has a lot of text and so forth in it, you can save that as an image using your, say, AutoCAD. And in this case, we took part of a just quadrangle and stuck it in there. To give you an example how you can map that to the surface, even if it's mountainous terrain, it will go ahead and take that image and map it to the surface of Google Earth. And that gives you an advantage because you bring in all the information available to Google Earth into your survey as well, and it's good for presentation.